Hello, Medicare Advantage Risk Adjustment operators, innovators, and learners. Welcome to another learning series of the Hughes Academy Risk Adjustment Made Easy, the Medicare Advantage kind. I am your host tutor, Dr. Prince Bewa. If today is your first time joining us, we want to say thank you. If you are a seasoned learner at the Hughes Academy as well, we want to say thank you for spending this evening with us. I know there are many things you could have done with your time, but you intended to learn with us. If you have not subscribed to our channel, I will encourage you to like, to share, to subscribe. It helps us to reach a wider audience and also to comment if there are any questions you may have as we go through today's lesson. Throughout last month and this month, we have been looking deeper into the supplemental benefits code. This month specifically, we are looking at the new encounter data processing system edits that are particularly pertaining to supplemental benefits data submission. And a resource that we are using as we go through this month is the Medicare Advantage General Supplemental Services Submission Guide, which you can find on the CMS CSSC operations website. So I will encourage you take some time, look through this resource because it has great information in there for you to better understand what you need to do as you submit supplemental benefits data to CMS. Last week, we looked at our very first one, which is edit 19000, invalid supplemental benefits submission, edit 19000. So I'll encourage you to look in the video notes where I will link the first video to, and you can learn more from there as we pick up this month. The next edit that we'll be looking at this week is edit 19005, which is missing supplemental benefit details. And because this edit pertains to multiple records in slightly different way, we will break this into two parts where today we'll look at one part and next week we'll look at another part because we don't want the video to be long. We try to keep it simple and sweet. So today we are looking at just one part, part one of this edit, and then next week we can pick up on the second part of this edit as we study. The edit 19005 missing supplemental benefits edit, and we looked at this table to help give us some framework as we look at these edits. Looking at the record type, this edit pertains to EDRs, encounter data records, because supplemental benefits are required to be submitted on encounter data records, not chart review records. The record type that this applies to is the encounter data records or EDRs. The section on the 837 file that this edit pertained to or is applicable to is both the header and the service line. As we discussed last week, on the record, there is the header and there's a line, and this edit pertains to the header and also on the line. And the edit is applicable to institutional, professional, and DME, which is 837P and the 837I. This is where there is a slight difference on how it applies on the institutional versus the professional and DME records, and we'll be focusing on one part today. The edit type is a reject edit. And if you are new to this, I also have another video reference that helps discuss the difference between informational edit and reject edit in EDPS. So you can learn also from there as well. And what is the purpose of this edit? According to the CMS documentation, which is the guide that we are looking at, the purpose of this edit is to validate that the supplemental benefits indicator is submitted when any of the default diagnoses, which is at the header, a procedure or revenue codes, which are underlined, are also submitted with a service line. So if an MAO, a Medicare Advantage organization, is submitting this data, this edit is validating that everything pertaining to the data is regarding the directions CMS has given per the supplemental benefits guidelines so that there is no confusion here. So the edit is looking at the default values either from a diagnosis or from a procedure or revenue codes that are submitted across the file on the header and the line are all matching without any confusion. So for today, as I said earlier, we are looking at part 19005 on professional and DME EDRs, which is the 837P records. Because the edit 19005 is also applicable to the header and the line, the lesson will also break it up into how the edit applies to that line and also to the header. And this is what you will see on the CMS documentation as well. So for the edit to post on the line level of the encounter data record, and this is 837p, if the service line contains a default procedure code of SBSP1, which is the default procedure code that CMS gave, or the line points to a header level default diagnosis code. If you're using the default procedure code on the line, or you designated a default diagnosis code on the header, and the service line does not contain the supplemental benefits indicators that we were given per the CMS guidelines. PWK01 is IR, PWK02 is EM, PWK05 is AC, and the PWK06 is the SBSC code. If you are new to this, last month's video episode covered a lot into that. So please leverage that to learn a lot about these things and how CMS have designated the supplemental benefits codes to be submitted by an MAO. And at the end of the day, the service line, also the date starting from 1/1/2024. So at the line level, if the service line has default procedure code, or the header has diagnosis code that is being pointed to, and all the lines doesn't have the code sets that are designated to be submitted for supplemental benefits codes and the date, then this edit will fire, or you get this reject edit on the very line level. What about this edit on the header level of professional DME, which is the 837, which is submitted on the 837p? At the header level, this edit will fire if the EDR encounter data record contains a default diagnosis code. So the SBSCD1, which is the default diagnosis code that CMS gave out, and none of the line service contain a supplemental benefit code. So you can see the same thing. The header has a default value that is used for supplemental benefits, but none of the lines contain what is needed to be submitted for supplemental benefits. For the date, which is 1/1/2024, this edit will fire at the header level, and this will be rejected. So the entire record overall is rejected. One big note that CMS pointed out that you should know is that if the edit is posted at a header level, then the entire record, as I said before, is rejected. And if you are new to the CMS editing processing, I have a video, an episode that touches on that, and you can go through the Hills Academy videos that touches on this, and I'll leave a link on the show notes that will direct you to these videos to learn about the CMS edit. I hope this video was helpful to you. As I bring today to an end, I will invite you to check out the Hills Academy website, which we have a lot of resources for you to download for free. If you are not on our email list or have not received our signature gift yet, it is From Chaos to Clarity, the Essential Medicare Advantage Risk Adjustment Data Sources Comparison Cheat Sheet that compares the different data sources that are used for risk adjustment for you for free. And you get to be part of our email list as well. If this has been helpful to you, don't hesitate to reach out, to share, to like, to subscribe. Otherwise, we will catch you next week as we look at the part 2 of this edit as it applies to institutional records. Bye for now.